Hello, my name is Aya. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel, A Very Good Life. We've been talking about soul ties. The first video I did was actually a soul ties reading for the 4 elements. Check it out in the playlist in the description, along with the other video I did. There is a unhooking the soul ties ritual connected to the the reading. So there was a question in the video about the dark-sided father and his emotionally incestuous relationship with his daughter. The question was, are women allowed to enjoy themselves? Because I use the ankh and the cross symbols as symbols for the masculine and feminine, and the enjoyer and the enjoyed. The short answer to that question is yes, but it's the way that you were enjoyed as a child that will lend to the type of enjoyer you're attracted to. So for people who don't know, because I'm going to end up losing my points, I'll go back and explain what I mean by those things after I make my point because it's fresh in my mind right now. So imagine yourself as the ultimate enjoyer of your children as a woman. That's a position where the woman is the enjoyer and the children are the enjoyed. Okay? And imagine the delight you have in your child for them just being them. Imagine the joy and the twinkle in your eye at watching your child play, even make mistakes, even, be mischievous, or their first word, or the first time they look at you in the eye, and the first time they reach out to you and grab your hand and grip it, and all the joys of being a mother, of being a person who has the great responsibility of passing down whatever it is you have to offer to your offspring, and however you are made, that is how it will be. There's a lot of different discussions we can have as offshoots of that, but I'm going to stick to the topic at hand, and I'm saying this for myself, not for you. Because it makes me emotional, because I truly enjoy that aspect of life, to where you or maybe the enjoyer of your plant babies or your animal babies. Yes, women are allowed. I think part of the question, not only are women allowed to enjoy themselves, meaning are women ever in the position of being the enjoyer, almost like being enjoyed is just a subjugation position, and where we're being ruled over. And that's kind of what I was getting at as far as having a dark-sided father as a daughter. It's the twisting and of and taking advantage of when you're the enjoyer in a situation of your power. You can be have pleasure being the enjoyed. If you have someone who is responsible, loving, and caring, honest, has integrity, and understands that in that position, it's a lot of responsibility as well. It's not just you do what I say, and you give me pleasure, and you make sure that I'm happy, and I don't care about how you feel and about your experience. And a lot of us have had those experiences first with our parents, whether it be your mother or your father or both, or and then in relationships. Most of the time, the latter precedes the former. I'm sorry, the former precedes. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to sound smart, but I'm messing it up. Bump that. You get it. And so I was thinking about my personal relationship with my father and my mom. They had me at a very young age. My mom got pregnant with me when she was 17, and we all know, those of us who have young parents, we kind of grow up with them. And if we're lucky, our parents start off mature or they grow into their maturity, and sometimes they don't. And you end up making sure they enjoy themselves, and you don't get to enjoy being a child. You don't feel enjoyed, you feel taken advantage of. And so my great grandma, with glee, because she's the shade brigade, you know, tells me that my father, when I was a kid, would take the clothes that my grandma, my great grandma would buy me, return them, and buy beer with it. Now, how much of that story is actual and factual, and how much of that story is blown up out of proportion for gossip's sake, I'm not sure. But that is an example of, a parent using their child to be enjoyed, and it kind of puts you, if your parents were like that, like kind of bitter and upset that you got a lot of attention and that you were given to. Another example in my family is of my parents. Now, this is when I'm much older, because my youngest sister, who I'm going to talk about, is 12 years younger than me. And she was the Gerber baby, and she wanted scholarship money. My parents used her scholarship money to buy a house in Florida, and she didn't get any of that money. Another example, this is my mom. Lord, God bless her soul. As she goes through karma for the things that she has done. What was I about to say? What else that she did? Oh, my father got money taken out of his check for back payment and child support. My biological father. And as me and my sister were grown, maybe in our early 20s, mid 20s, and she didn't give us the money. And I asked her about it, and I was like, are you still receiving money from my dad? And she's like, yep. When were you going to give it to us? I don't know. Like, I would never saw that money. And I called the courts, and there was like nothing I could do about it if she didn't give me the money, give me and my sister the money. And so in relationships like that, to where your parents are taking from you instead of giving to you, you see, you will tend to believe that in order for someone to enjoy you, you have to work for their approval and validation. But in a healthy relationship, of the enjoyer and the enjoyer has energy to give to the enjoyed, to make sure that they are actually comfortable and feel loved and feel supported. Look at the ultimate enjoyer, which is the goddess. In Hindu, they call that energy, that raw, primitive, formless energy that creates the indestructible form, which we call eternity, or the destructible form, which we call Maya, matter. She's the ultimate enjoyer, meaning that she creates the matter that we are blessed to be gifted with, the temporal world and the eternal world. She gifts that to us, and we have free will as to whether or not we would like to surrender to her divine laws and to her laws of balance. And she blesses you and gifts you with peace and protection if you willingly surrender. See, she doesn't force herself upon you. She's always there. She never changes. This principle some people call God, and it's a male principle. But because of the language that is used to describe this energy, she gives birth, it gives birth to the world, to the worlds, to the cosmos, to all the gods and goddesses, to humans, to plants, to animals, the temporary and the eternal. It's amazing. It's science. It's a mythology that describes the actual science of what actually goes on. That's why I love it. That's why I love Hindu mythology, because I don't know. I love to me, God and science go hand in hand. But anyway, so there is an ultimate enjoyer over us all, and when she gives us the opportunity to be the enjoyer, it is a responsibility. Some people take that responsibility and they use it as a license to take, to steal, to kill, destroy. Sounds like the devil, huh? Well, there's that principle, that the dark side, that is here for us to learn from, because it definitely, that dark side takes you through a labyrinth of ignorance. The darkness is called ignorance anyway, and a labyrinth of suffering. Anytime you suffer, it's like the universe giving you a whooping, and it could be from this lifetime and in past lives as well. That's why, you know, as beings, you say, I take responsibility for everything. Even if I was abused, I take responsibility for that. And that's how you heal, because in some aspect, the laws of balance go, if it's happening to you, then most likely you were the perpetrator in some point in time, which is true. I believe that to be true. And in taking on that attitude of taking responsibility for my evolution in that way, it has done nothing but made me happy and at peace, and taking responsibility for my healing process, whether in this lifetime I am a victim. It's a game that we're playing. It's a role that I'm playing, and I take it like, you know what? I apologize, because now I know how it feels to be abused. And no longer will I repeat that cycle. No longer will I be abusive to any being. And I will do my best to make amends and make up for and make up for my karmic lessons. And now I will create dharma. And that is my explanation for the question that I saw in the comments. Thank you so much for that question. Please feel free to drop down in the comments and join in the conversation, and give me more inspiration by the questions that you ask to make more videos. Oh, I said I was going to explain where I got that from. Well, I've been studying the brain balancing symbols and trying to find the origins of where they come from. So a long time ago, someone introduced me to Dr. Drew Pukram, and she introduces to people the brain balancing symbols to train and balance the left and right side of the brain in order to reach a high coefficiency of your highest intelligence and your potential this lifetime. So I'm working with those symbols, and being the studious person that I am, I want to know the origins of it. I don't really like participating in things and I don't know where it came from. And so I found that it came from a mystery school, from the philosopher, mathematician, I guess I didn't even know he had a mystery school, Pythagoras. And so if it came from him, if I found something that said it came from him, then I know it probably came from Egypt or Kemet or something like that, right? Which, by the way, I don't think it's like the end all be all. I feel like that's a time period that had its ups and its downs, but that's a different subject as well. I'm not saying that. Anyway, that's a different subject, and I'm gonna leave that there. And so then I just started studying the symbols in general, because I'm like, well, I'm not getting to the bottom of it. I found the bottom where I could find in the internets, I guess. And so I started studying the symbols in general. And then I started studying, and then I combined those symbols with what I was learning in Hindu mythology. And so that's where I'm getting my thought process from, just in case anybody wants to kind of follow that. Or you can take that and study and run off with it yourself and create your own philosophies.